$5 Games presents Plebby Quest: The Crusades. If you are scared of words, don't play this game. It is a 4K strategy game of minigames set in the time of the Crusades. It is in no way, shape, or form actually serious, and there is a forewarning at the beginning that they are not trying to imply anything, in case you couldn't tell by the artwork. It's the whole we're all religiously free thing that Ubisoft made famous with the Assassin's Creed franchise. With that in mind, take all of their religious and cultural references with a grain of salt, or don't play the game. I didn't even finish the first scenario, which is a tutorial, or even start a war with my neighboring country. About 2/3 of the time I spent was reading plot, and the other third was the tutorial trying to insert as many fourth wall breaks that they deemed legal. The first character you control is a rich boy prince who never commanded an army and has to learn everything from scratch. Regarding running a country, of course. All he cares about is getting in with the ladies, so be prepared to read a lot about that, unless you skip it. I don't know if replay has the same amount of conversations going on, so if you just like playing the game, that might be an option. Also, be prepared for a lot of finger puppets and animations that you can do with finger puppets. I'm now going to dive through the tutorial about 10 times faster than the game itself, so I apologize if this causes your ears to bleed. In combat, you send commands like moving forward or swapping positions to your troops via pigeons, making the no-brain ideal scenario to just throw a rock at your enemy's pigeon, but unfortunately they are invulnerable and perfectly obedient. Injured troops get healed the red part of their life bar as long as they're in the back of the army. The closer your troops are to you, the faster they receive your commands, but they will also have less room to back up. Combat in the tutorial took a long time to finish. They provided a fast forward button to speed things along, and I highly recommend using it. Most commands like swapping 2 rows of troops or running away have to be researched first before you can use them. Researching is found under administrations in the bottom right. It's that dude. Besides commands, you can research passive bonuses like being able to have merchants or more generals, or the ability to do things around the map like exploring ruins. All of these things cost research points which can be received from the mosque, which I imagine changes to whatever religion your headquarters are in. Inside the mosque, you can sort books to collect research points. It's a simple Connect 3 game. You can pray, no clue what it does. You can donate money, which lets you play a spinning coin minigame for prizes. It's not actually like flipping a coin though, it stops spinning when you click it. Exploring ruins looked like normal combat, but I didn't get to them. You can go to the mosque by assigning a general to go there. Each general has one action that they can do a turn, down here. The barracks is where you assign troops to your general. You can also pay money to give the troops XP, as well as upgrade them to the next tier for a certain amount of resources. Essentially, it's a class up. Everything else in the bottom left costs the general their action. To heal your troops, you need to either rest, which costs wheat and only does a partial heal, or by talking to the innkeeper in the inn, who will heal your troops to full and max out their morale for money. We're not going to go into why their morale gets maxed out. I'm sticking to gameplay. If you visit a location like the inn and immediately leave without talking to anyone, thankfully it doesn't count as an action. The inn is also the place where you can talk to prospective generals to add to your army. It looks like you can outright buy them with a ton of money or pay a little and win a mini game similar to Mastermind. Basically, the general places 5 cards face down, and in a certain number of moves, you need to play the same cards in the same order. You can't see their cards. Instead, you have to place down 5 cards, and then they'll tell you if any of your cards match theirs. There's one indicator if it's the right card in the right place, and one indicator if you have the right card but in the wrong place. For this one, they even told me which one was in the right place, but it wouldn't surprise me if this was different later on. If you manage to put the same 5 cards down as them, they join your team. There are also some people you can fight in the inn, and each have their own reward for beating them. However, you can't grind because each general can only beat each person once. If there's an uprising or if someone is staging a revolt against you, you can also find them in the inn and pay them a bunch of money to go away. If you don't want to pay them, you can have your general do the police option to fight them instead. The police option also increases morale in a city when it has been decreased by one of these folks. The morale does not go back up on its own. The town's morale changes how much income you receive. I also believe bad events will start happening if you have bad morale, like evicting one of your generals. Lastly, you can do diplomacy to neighboring nations for diplomatic kinds of things. Trade, war, gifts, things like that. Alright, I'm out of breath. Subscribe, I do 5 of these each week. Like and comment if you want. That's a wrap for this game. Consider picking this game up instead of a finger puppet.